Hello, everybody. This is Charles Anderson, and I'm just a guy from Goodwell, Oklahoma, and I have a really great video game idea. Alright, last off I covered nav modes. Now I'm going to jump into the battle modes because, hey, any good story has conflict in it, right? So let's take a look at now. The battle modes is just different little games that you will play to earn rewards in this thing, and this can be, it's going to be experience points, it's going to be currency, it's going to be rare items, it's going to be a whole lot of stuff. And really, it's just the flavor that I'm just adding to what's already out there, and how many of these am I going to put in there. Now, of course, because I've got this 3D system, I don't have my dotted line up, but you'll notice that there's shadows here on this. On this 3D system that I'm going to be setting up, I'm going to be making fun of, stamping the various 2D games into shape. So yes, this right here, this is basically 3D. Of course, the character animations are going to be stamped into 2D like the 2D games that I like, and this is where this spot in the world, it's actually going to take a picture of it, stamp it to a flat surface, or multiple flat surfaces, and actually like drop it down as setting pieces for this stage background. And like right here, I've stamped everything, and it's just this wall that that's covering the real world. And they're there, they're jumping. Here's that line of blocks that they're on, and they're going into the fighting. And this would be the 1-to-1 ratio on the Golden Gamers ratio, usually, because you've only got one enemy. You've got to beat that enemy. It's just going to be one round. I guess you could set it to 3. I don't know. That would be standard for the fighting games. But the average time I'm projecting this mode to last, in the game is about 60 seconds. Because remember, we've only got so many pages in the book, so much real time to play with it. I guess if you set it to 3 rounds, of course, you'd be spending, what, 120, 2 out of 3, possibly 180 seconds. But, and the rewards would have to increase for increasing the rounds or how much time you're spending, doing this battle mode here. This battle mode is based on skill numbers, with the pure numbers being about even on this ratio. I'll go into that more on the Golden Gamers ratio. The difficulty for this is the CPU reaction timing. Now you say, what? CPU reaction timing? Well, it has to do with skill numbers. Anybody here remember the Mortal Kombat series, like the first 3 games? On normal, you'd be fighting, punch punch. It would be pretty much like you against another player. You increase that difficulty to impossible, and the moment that your kick animation starts, they're already blocking, and they'll let your hit connect with their block, and then all of a sudden they do this quick jab, move in, and then just start beating the crud out of you. Yeah, because the CPU will always have the ability to just right then, bam, you've pressed the button, it's received the button input, and even before it processes your button input, it can already be doing stuff faster than you. That's just how an AI can be painfully made. However, a lot of good games will have a delay in their reaction to whatever buttons that you're pressing and how that's going to play out on screen. So yeah, make it easier? Well, this guy becomes dopier. Yeah, simple as that. Skill numbers. The costume? Yeah, there's going to be costumes in this game. Like this guy, he's wearing the black belt costume, which is just, the headband. And if I decide to add anything else, but the costume would be the player's move set. So you're such and such level. That, oh dear, did I grab something? Yeah, I grabbed something. Okay, so there's your move set. For the black belt guy, you throw in the fireball, the punch, all that good stuff. Maybe if it's a mage, uses spells that they've learned, and of course you're doing the little controller stick combos and such, and of course life gauges, all that good stuff. And we'll move on to the next mode. This one, definitely the JRPG style. As you can see, this one I loved. Let's see, I think it was Final Fantasy Square. One of the dudes, Square. They started off. Okay, this is hilarious. They actually were trying games out like Rad Racer. For those who are all the way back to the Nintendo area, and of course they were all depressed because Rad Racer, yeah, it was a tough game. But Final Fantasy was named Final Fantasy because, hey, they were getting ready to give up, and guess what? It was wildly popular. Thanks, guys. You are awesome. So now we've got this huge, ginormous Final Fantasy franchise. Yay! And but this one's a little nod back to all the way back there. Of course, I could flip it up around and do like the Dragon Warrior series, which was Enix. Of course, now Square and Enix are one, and Eidos too. So they're a big mega conglomeration. And yeah, definitely, gonna have. I can actually take these models and make their bodies, use the scaling matrices to make their bodies about as big as their heads for the Japanese SD form, which, if you watch anime, the SD super deformed form is where their heads are about as big as their bodies, and they look like dwarves or something. But it's definitely those characters. And got to throw in some monsters there. Got to throw in the fight. Use magic spell, use item, and it's not so much about skill now. It's about pure numbers. So on the pure numbers ratio, it's going to be 4-to-1 because I don't. This mode shouldn't be that tough. You're just choosing the thing. You're spending your time. How quickly can you do this? Because you're filling in pages as you go. So even though this isn't timed on this level, it is definitely timed on the level above. So average time I'm predicting for an average round to last. You up in levels. You're going to drop it below 30 seconds. But 30 seconds is, what I'm thinking, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, difficulty will be the pure numbers that get adjusted, not necessarily the skill numbers. And 4 costumes at a time out of the costumes that you collect throughout the game, that'll be in there. All right, on to the bullet hell, or as I like to think of it, the gauntlet style. Because yeah, gauntlet. Yeah, thank you guys. You guys rocked on that formula. But yeah, we'll call it the bullet hell, top-down bullet hell. On the pure number side, it's going to be a 30-to-1 ratio. Basically, you'll be able to one-hit enemies, but of course, at the same time, they're shooting out all these bullets, and you're running around. So your guys will be able to one-hit enemies on the pure number side, and the enemies will have to hit you quite a few times on the pure number side. But again, the skill numbers, how many of these enemies are going to be on screen, and how much damage, how often can you reduce the pure number side of the equation using the skill number side of the equation. And of course, this whole game is going to be with support up to 4 players. I don't know, computers come with 4 USB ports, sure. I'm going to program it for, like, at least one character could use the mouse and keyboard if they had to. But I'm going to mostly have it like for Xbox controllers that are plugged into the USB ports. Sounds good to me. Average time 3 minutes. Survival. Some of these modes will just be flat out survival. How many of these enemies can you take out, survive for the full time, and then you get, you do your restoration sequence there after that. And so damage, enemy shots, because pure numbers, if that can be on the difficulty rating, and up to 4 costumes, 1 costume per player can be set. Of course, better rewards for more players. Okay. That covers the navigation modes on this paper. Some other ones like extreme rock paper scissors. Yeah, some of these battle modes will be jokes, and I mean they'll be serious that you can actually play them, but they're not like seriously thought out. And it's gonna show. It's gonna show, and that's part of the fun too. All right, that ends it. So there we go. And